stand at the podium unless you want, and if you'd like to wander around.
I was going to walk around, so sorry. Yeah.
You just put this in your pocket.
Oh, wow.
I'm just going to put this on your shirt.
Fancy.
Okay. It's on.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hey guys, my name's Jamie. I apologize for not being here last week. I was actually interviewed for Brownstein, which they accepted for DC, so I'll be going there. Pretty excited. So I was with a girl, and who's not my girlfriend, by the way. And she said, "I'm not going to hook up with a frat guy in a frat house," and made me thinking. I'm a fraternity man. I'm in a fraternity, and made me thinking. I see a lot of other guys who are in fraternities here, and it made me think. Like, we're always stereotyped into this perception that we're these guys that all we do is party and do crazy things and get in trouble. And honestly, I've been stereotyped all my life. Before I was stereotyped as a frat guy, I was stereotyped as a uneducated Hispanic male. And that was probably the hardest thing to deal with growing up, is the constant adversity of being undermined by my peers in society. Growing up, I was bullied a lot. I was picked on because of my skin. I grew up in a very nice area, like in terms of income, like a very moderate to high income area, and went to a nice public school where I attended nice classes, got good GPA and all that, but I still face this thing called stereotypes. And if it was one day in class, we had Spanish day, and everyone obviously would talk to me like, "Hey, do you know Spanish? Like you could go up and talk." And everything that related to some sort of culture about Mexico or just any Latin culture always got placed on me, since I was the knowledgeable one. And it truly makes me disheartening, and it makes me feel that out of so many years of seeing different groups being stereotyped, different groups being oppressed, it's really tough. So to conclude my presentation, was that time, by the way, Kendall? Okay, so sorry, to conclude my presentation, stereotypes limit people or groups, and in order to overcome them, we need to be socially mature and respect everyone. So thank you very much.
Next up, Nicholas Jacobs.
All right. Milking cancer. How big corporations make a profit off of cancer and the pink ribbon culture. We all love to support the fight against cancer, but are our donations actually doing more harm than good? How is it that despite billions of dollars in donations every year, rates for breast cancer continue to rise? In fact, much of the blame falls squarely on the companies that are fighting for a cure. Did you know that both Yoplait and Dana donated for breast cancer research while simultaneously selling products with chemicals linked to cancer? Unfortunately, the problems don't stop there. Let me tell you the real truth behind the pink ribbon. You see, companies stand to profit from what's called cause marketing, linking products to a cause such as breast cancer in order to increase their sales. But they don't profit off of those donations, and pharmaceutical companies don't profit off of finding a cure or finding the cause for cancer. Even worse, some companies knowingly sell cancer-causing products and then also turn around and sell drugs to treat that very cancer. Who could let such a thing happen? We do. Hiding a billion-dollar industry of exploitation behind the pretty face of pink ribbon culture. Smiles of encouragement across the nation offer hollow hope, shouting, "If you only fight hard enough." But what does that say to someone with stage 4 cancer? You didn't have the will to live? Next, there's the subtle sexualization and dehumanization. Your value lies in your chest, save a breast or a man's mother, sister, daughter. Doesn't someone's value lie in their personhood alone? Isn't it enough that we rob them of their money for their cure, for cancer's cause, not its treatment? I'm not asking you to join a nonprofit, an advocacy group, an organization. I'm simply asking you, all of you, that next time you see that cute little pink ribbon, you think before you go pink. Thank you.
Next up is Kurt.
I once met a faith healer on a city bus in Denver, Colorado. I was traveling alone, as is my habit, and she put her hand on my shoulder and asked if she could pray for me. Next thing I know, I was hearing, "Oh Lord Jesus, God of miracles, just as you've done in the Bible, bring this man his sight, take him from a world of darkness into the light of day. Amen." Now, obviously, it didn't work. And in retrospect, what I should have done is thrown my cane away and said, "Jesus, I can see now!" But, my point here, by the way, is not to demonize faith healers. That's a different speech. My point is to say that in my interactions with people, as it relates to my blindness, basically everybody has a little bit of that faith healer in them. From the lowliest freshman all the way up to Director Jowers. Now, this comes sort of in two varieties. People tend to assume that because of my blindness, and I'm simplifying, I'm either super helpless or Superman. So let's debunk both of these things. Blindness makes me super helpless. If you really believe that, let's go grab a beer. Let's go take a walk. Let's go jog. Let's go do any of the other myriad normal things I do all the time. I'm looking forward to it. Now, if you believe that blindness makes me Superman, all you need to do is ask Alessi how much I've procrastinated this semester, and that myth should be shot to hell pretty quickly. Now, in closing, I just want to say, if you understand anything from this speech, it is that I hope you treat me as a person first with all my relevant characteristics, and my disability as a secondary or tertiary or even farther down the line characteristic. And I hope you can also apply that to everyone else you meet. Thank you. My cane went somewhere, guys. Does someone want to help me find my cane? Thanks.
Next up, Ryan.
Start? Okay. So people every day are living with thirst and not having a clean water source available near to their houses. I'm speaking, of course, about the shoreline apartment buildings right here on campus. None of these buildings have any water fountains, which, as someone living there, is extremely hard to deal with. And I've actually noticed myself drinking less water every day, not having access to these. I know a lot of you are probably thinking right now, and I've heard it a million times, "Oh, just drink from the tap, it's the same, you know." But it clearly is not as refreshing, and if you really do think that, I would have to raise the question, why do so many people in my building alone walk to the HC, the Heritage Center, every single day just to get some of that clean, fresh, crisp, and delicious water that you can only get from a water fountain. So the university is also behind this. ASUU just recently finished a bill that included $75,000 being allocated to the installation of those really cool water bottle filler water fountains. So we all think those are really cool, and we've probably taken a picture of those to send to our friends to make them jealous that they aren't at the school. But more importantly, they really do provide sustainability, convenience, and they help people achieve that daily amount of water that they need to stay healthy. So with that, I ask you guys to really, every time you see or drink from a water fountain, make sure you appreciate it a little more. Say thank you, because not everybody has that luxury. Thank you.
Preston Connor.
Good afternoon. My name is Preston Connor. The title of my presentation is No More. That would be with a K. So, what do you say to a man who has 2 black eyes? Nothing. His wife already told him twice. How about this one? Don't fight back. You'll go to jail. This was the last conscious thought of a man as his ex-wife choked him out in front of their 2-year-old daughter. A recent study proclaims that women are twice as likely as men to be victims of domestic violence. The same study quietly acknowledges later that only less than half of battered men ever actually report that. So statistically, men and women are about 50-50 when it comes to being abusers. However, we are all inundated with information that largely portrays women solely and overwhelmingly as the victims. Excuse me, it's a little harder to talk about this today. So much so that the very domestic violence laws in this country were changed in 1994 to be known as the Violence Against Women Act. The letter of the law now clearly states that women are always victims, men are always abusers. And this is how law enforcement has been trained for now the last 20 years. Don't fight back, you'll go to jail. As the LAPD put this woman into the back of their patrol car, they mocked me for letting a smaller woman get the better of me. Well, at the same time, they told me that I had every right to defend myself, and they sneeringly asked why I didn't. My response was that had you 2 rolled up here and my ex-wife had a single mark on her, I'd be the one in the back of your car right now. They laughed sheepishly, but they agreed. She was arrested for felony domestic violence instead of attempted murder. And 3 days later, in violation of California criminal law, she was released from jail without a single charge. The DA's office claimed that there was not enough evidence to successfully prosecute the case, yet off the record, everybody involved acknowledged that had the roles been reversed, I would have faced years in jail and very likely would have been convicted. But in consolation, I was given a nice 2-page list of hotlines to call, paid for by tax dollars, that were set up specifically to help victims of domestic violence with everything from shelter and medical aid to free legal services. Every single number that I called had the same response. We don't offer services to men. My case is not an exception to the rule. It's not even the worst case out there, but sadly it is just standard operating procedure. Thank you.
Next up, Creed.
Last Friday night, I set my kitchen on fire twice. And the Friday night before that, I robbed an armored truck. And the Friday night before that, I took out 8 Nazi soldiers with my sniper rifle. Now, you may think that I have a serious issue with lying, but I don't. It's all true. It happened in a video game. And today I want to share with you by how putting down the textbooks and picking up a video game controller will greatly improve your life as a student. Video games not only help improve your sleep cycles, it also helps you make better decisions as a student. Now first, I want to talk to you about the sleep thing. In a 2011 University of Arizona sleep study, 50% of students reported that they experience daily daytime sleepiness. Now, I suppose that the other 50% of students who took the study actually just fell asleep while taking the survey. But video games really do help improve your sleep, because it can end your struggle to have to stay awake during the day. You can just go to sleep. Reward yourself. You stayed up all night reaching level of 80 in Warcraft, and it doesn't matter. That microeconomics theory lecture is going to be posted online anyways. Don't worry about it. Gaming also helps prepare students for the always dreaded finals week. Now, if you're like all students, you're definitely going to have quite a few sleepless nights in the library during finals week. But what video gaming does is it prepares you for those sleepless nights staring at a glowing screen. Because you spent so many nights throughout the semester slaughtering zombies in Left 4 Dead 2, you're definitely going to be able to stay up and finish those Hinckley Forum series papers. No problem. Now I want to talk to you about how video games can help you make healthy lifestyle choices. As college students, we're all faced with really negative temptations. Should we smoke weed? Should we take that extra shot tonight? Should we drive home after the party? And should I be going home with that guy I just met? Well, video games can help us keep us away from the bad decisions we would otherwise be making. If you just stay at home continuing to rob banks in GTA, you don't need to worry about those bad decisions you'd be making that are going to haunt you until grad school. Don't worry about that. Now, if you just stay home with the controller, you can avoid the sex, drugs, and bad social media decisions. Now, video games also help us avoid the freshman 15. Now, endless studies have been done saying that college students gain a significant amount of weight between freshman and sophomore years. You would think that gaming would actually contribute to the weight gain, but have you ever played Super Smash Brothers? Try and keep your ass on the seat when Kirby and Ness are going at it like a snake and a critter. You won't be able to. So now, you see, video games are vital to student success. Putting down the textbooks and focusing on mastering all things video games is going to make you a better student. It helps regulate your sleep and helps you make healthy lifestyle choices. Please just put down the textbooks. In all seriousness, college is actually the most important time of your life, but it's okay. We have all worked really hard and we all deserve a well-needed break. Pick up the controller, you'll thank me for it.
Next up, Carrie Murdoch.
I'm going to try to use this as a visual and to read. But we'll see if it slides and doesn't work. Okay. Okay. I'm nervous. Okay. Have you looked into the eyes of the hopeless? Have you felt abandoned in your most eminent time of need? Have you ever cried out to silence, yearning for a response? I have. In these moments of despair, I look to the stars and hope for a hero. No, not a bird, not a plane, not Kanye, Superman. Someone who knows what it's like to be different. Someone who fights for those weaker than himself without thought of reward. Someone who defends humanity against anyone seeking its destruction. Truth, justice, and the American way. Superman gets it. Superman writer Grant Morrison said, "Somewhere in our darkest night, we made up the story of a man who will never let us down. Whether Superman does or does not exist in today's world is not important. We've become a disbelieving race, and to us, hope is a four-letter word, often uttered with sarcasm or derision. Superman is that someone to inspire valor, not because he is perfect, but because he embodies everything we could be. We are all capable of being heroes. It might just take a hero to inspire us. The Man of Steel is a public servant, an embodiment of justice, integrity, and honor. Each of us needs Superman to remind us to be our best possible self, to be good, to do good, without the promise of reward. even when it seems like other people don't deserve it. The world needs character and an advocate for justice. Someone who didn't need to watch his parents shot down in the street, who never indirectly caused the death of a loved one so he could learn that power invokes responsibility. Someone who simply wants to do the right thing and will die defending complete strangers. Superman fights a never-ending battle against evil, but he never becomes evil himself, and he is always there to answer the call. He can give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. We, as a species, have a great capacity for good. We can choose to be the difference that we want to see in the world. We need hope and idealism to conquer apathy and cynicism. We need our greatest hero. The world needs a Superman.
Next up, Nicholas Mansari. Jordan Rice.
Okay. Are you happy? Can you honestly tell me that you are happy? We are all searching for the key to happiness, the key that'll help us get through those trials when there seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel. I would like to bear my testimony of Ghirardelli brownies. They will help you find that light at the end of the tunnel. Go to the grocery store right after this class and find a box of Ghirardelli brownies. I promise you, you will thank me for the rest of your life. Once a week, Thursday night is brownie night. You put the brownie mix in the mixer, 1 egg, 1/3 oil, 1/3 water, mix it up. Go ahead and eat the whole batter if you want to. You will not regret it. Then stick it in the oven. The back of the box says 45 minutes. You only need 25. Take it out. The middle may be a little bit gooey, but it's totally fine. That's exactly how you want it. Take a spoon and just dig right into the middle. You don't need a little spatula to cut little squares. No, you just need a spoon and you just need hot pads and put it on your lap and just go for it. In like 15 minutes, you'll look down and the whole pan will be gone. And you'll feel fine. You won't even feel sick at all. All you'll feel is pure happiness and joy. And you'll thank me that you have found this light at the end of the tunnel that'll get you through those hard days when everything seems to be going wrong. So go to the grocery store, buy Ghirardelli chocolate brownies. They have like 3 different kinds. Bake them, eat them, thank me later. Thank you.
Christian Sanchez.
What is Murphy's Law? It essentially means anything that can go wrong will go wrong. When I was in high school, Murphy's Law was working at its finest. I hated the academic side of school. I was failing class left and right, and my highest grade up until junior year was probably a C+. I would skip class to hang out with friends and stay home when I knew my parents wouldn't be home. The social aspect of high school was all I cared about. Girls. It's all that matters, right? I did the minimum to pass every year. The idea of getting an education was nothing new when I was growing up. My dad was a teacher in Mexico, so education was pretty important. He would often tell me that in order to succeed in life, I needed a college degree. This didn't make sense to me because growing up, my dad would be picking cherries for a living, even though he had his college degree. I believed I was destined to become a statistic, just some Hispanic boy. A high school dropout, someone who only worked in the field, and that my future family would forever be a low-income family. I didn't have hope for the future. I kept blaming others, and it was unfair that most of my friends were born with everything and had good grades, unlike me. What was their secret? It wasn't until my junior year where the opposite of Murray's Law kicked in, not by chance, but by the secret formula I discovered. The opposite of Murray's Law is that everything that can work will work. Despite all odds and failures, I came to the realization that I could become successful. This secret formula anyone can get in order to succeed in life is called attitude. I simply had a bad attitude about life. I decided to change it into a positive attitude. With hard work and attitude, I started becoming successful. Long story short, starting my junior year, I was in multiple leadership positions.
I was nominated for scholarships and awards by my high school left and right, and I received a full ride scholarship to any college in the country. I received my congressional nomination for 3 of the service academies that I wanted to attend, including West Point and the Air Force Academy. I got accepted to the U. I graduated high school with over 75 college credits. Because of a positive attitude, I had flipped my life around completely. Sometimes things that should not work nevertheless, like my story. I went from a statistic to someone great. It's all about attitude. Thank you.
Blair.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Blair. I'm here to talk to you guys about gun control. If I had $1 for every time that someone told me that Obama was going to take all of our guns away, I would have enough money not to be on Obamacare. If you do your research, you find out it's not true. But believe me when I tell you that I really wish it was. I know what a lot of you are thinking. Here comes this hippie liberal who doesn't know what she's talking about, and she probably spends her spare time burning copies of the Constitution. You might be surprised to find out that I'm a gun owner. I come from a family who passes down antique rifles instead of priceless jewelry. I learned how to shoot at 22 before I was even riding a bike. If you come to my dad's house to pick me up for a date, he will greet you at the door with a shotgun. To put it simply, we're a little redneck. So what am I even talking about? I'm talking about April 20th, 1999, the day that changed my life forever. The day that my cousin, Lauren Townsend, was shot and killed in the Columbine incident. On average, America has 1 mass shooting every 64 days. That's more than any other developed country in the world. In 1996, Australia chose to ban assault weapons, and there hasn't been a single mass shooting since. But because we live in America, 2 high school students were able to purchase assault weapons and murdered 12 people. My beautiful, amazing, incredibly sweet cousin never even got to graduate from high school. So why would I, a responsible, mentally stable, licensed gun owner, willingly give up my firearms if the feds come knocking? Because silly tradition should never be more important than human life.
Next up, Trisha Rowe.
I'm Trisha Rohn. I work at the YWCA with my mother. Last week was the day that I started to regret it when I walked into a meeting and they were talking about the HPV shot and cervical cancer and how the HPV shot may not even work. And me, with my big mouth, said, I recently got the shot, I guess it doesn't work. And my mom says, only if you haven't been sexually active. Have you been? In front of everyone. And you can only imagine my embarrassment. But this story is not about my embarrassing mother, because I would be that way too if I had lost 2 siblings within a year span from cancer, one of which is cervical cancer. Statistics from the CDC and the Cancer Society have said that 1 in 2 men are diagnosed with cancer within their lifetime, and 1 in 3 women are also diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. So my speech isn't to bombard you with a bunch of facts. It's to ask you to go and look at your family history, see what you can prevent, and go to the hospital. Just preventative measures so that you don't have to get to the point where you do have cancer or where you can't prevent it. Get regular checkups, because I know that would have saved my aunt and uncles from having to suffer from this tragic pain. Because the worst thing is having to watch the life lift away from one of your family members. And one of the worst parts is having to watch your family members' children go through life without them. So
no matter how much you think you're Superman, diseases are a real thing, and it can affect anyone. So if you feel sick, or if you feel even the slightest possibility of getting any disease, just remember that you can't be Superman, because almost anything in this world can be your kryptonite.
Next up, Catherine Schaefer.
Hi, everyone. So jewelry is just jewelry, right? It makes great gifts. It goes with everything. Girls love it. But it's actually can be so much more. See, I work for a jewelry company that focuses completely on being environmentally stable and sustaining life and our environment around us, as well as making a positive impact on the lives and focusing on positively living. See, when you come into our store, you're going to realize there's this huge wall, and it's got a million different symbols up on it. It's got a bunch of words, and every symbol is tied to a deeper meaning. It's not going to give you any special powers. It might say strength, motivation, healing, knowledge, anything like that. It's not going to fix your life. But what it is going to do is make sure that you live in a positive way, have a positive state of mind, so that that is reflected in your daily actions. Everything that we sell is made out of recycled materials. It's supposed to be sustainable. It's handcrafted here in America, so it's good for our economy too. But that's really not our focus. See, our heart and soul of our company is our Charity by Design, where I work. Everything that we do there is partnered with nonprofit organizations. So we make jewelry for them so that they receive 20% back of the sales. So we're educating our customers, our community, and making a difference. I work with nonprofits that are here in Salt Lake, and our 40 different places in the country work with their local nonprofits. We make a difference. We educate people. We raise money for different causes in environmentally stable ways, in education, and in healthcare and wellness. Jewelry can mean something. Gifts to people, the things you wear, doesn't have to be simple decoration. It can make an impact.
As a music major who plans to go to medical school, I'm asked every single day, how do those correlate? And generally, to save time, I answer with something like, well, music's fun, or I enjoy it, so why not? But what these inquirers don't understand is that nothing gives your brain a full body workout quite like music. As you're translating the written notes on the page into a specific series of muscle contractions, while subdividing each beat into a different series of rhythmic patterns, while internalizing the tempo and expressing the motion, really lights up the MRI screen. And drumming in particular, as your right arm is doing something different than your left, and your left leg is using a different pattern and technique than your right, is multitasking at the extreme. And as percussionists in general, there are hundreds of different instruments in percussion, each one requiring a specific set of neuron pathways to master the technique. The cajon is very different than the cabasa. The triangle is very different than the timpani. And I could go on and on. But despite all of this, despite all of the hours spent memorizing music, analyzing melodies, analyzing every chord, and despite all of the different things your brain could be focusing on, true music comes as you subconsciously do all of that, as your brain is doing all of that, and it's left completely open to freely make a masterpiece every single time you play, something that's never been done before. So why am I studying music when I want to go to medical school? Because drumming develops my brain in a way biology doesn't, and percussion works parts of my brain untouched by my chemistry courses, and music prepares and strengthens my brain for all aspects of education. Thank you.
Next up, Alexander Kadich.
Okay, I'm Alex, and as some of you know, I'm passionate about Kanye. Recent crises like Ebola, ISIS, the insecure border have shown that Americans are afraid. Specifically, we're afraid of ISIS spreading Ebola through the insecure border. Americans have forgotten what it's like to be American and need a hero to restore these values. Kanye West can restore American values because he is a family man and he promotes self-esteem. Accordingly so, Kanye West should run in the 2016 presidential election. True Americans are family-oriented, and Kanye is a perfect husband and father. According to HollywoodLife.com, Kanye was found happily changing Northwest diaper, his 1-year-old daughter. Kim Kardashian, who recently broke the internet, raves about how Kanye West is supportive and helps her pursue her own goals. Because Kanye West is an excellent family man and father, he should be our nation's next saving hero. Kanye West also promotes self-esteem, or what I like to call Kanye-fidence. My sister, like many, likes Starbucks, wears leggings, has been deemed by pop culture as basic. I say this because this summer she went to a Kanye West concert, and upon her return, she told me, Alex, you know what Kanye taught me? Kanye taught me that if you believe in Kanye, you believe in yourself. Why would I say this? Because if Kanye West can implant a message of self-esteem in a basic middle-class girl, can he not inspire this nation to believe in itself once again? Finally, Kanye said it best himself when he said, I'm like a vessel, and God has chosen me to be the connector and voice of this generation. Americans need a hero to restore American values. Kanye West can do this because he is family-oriented and promotes self-esteem and will help America do these things. So next election season, when you receive a phone call asking, who will you vote for? Remember Kanye. Thank you.
Sharmista?
Hi, I'm Sharmista, and I'm going to talk about why Christmas is so commercialized. 11% of children in a recent survey said that Christmas is the birth of Santa Claus. Maybe some of us still do. This is what I mean. Obviously, children are totally misled. So what's the true meaning of Christmas? It's a time for family. It's a time to relax. It's a time to sit around the fire, enjoy a cup or two of hot cocoa, maybe a few memories. But no, that's a myth. Nobody relaxes over Christmas break. Instead, our families fester over shopping, over expenses, decorations, and food. Christmas has given a warm scent of misfed information, and sadly, the true meaning is virtually gone. I believe something has to be done. Let's not pretend we don't notice all the subliminal messages we get around the holidays. Don't tell me I'm the only one who hears Christmas music playing in October. Don't tell me I'm the only one who gets sales magazines every week. And unless you live under a rock, everyone has to see a billboard, commercial, or advertisement for what makes the perfect gift. The media puts so much pressure on us. It's like everything in the mall is yelling, buy me, and God forbid we don't. Realistically speaking, all holidays are commercialized. Not saying it doesn't benefit the economy, which it does, whether it's a box of chocolates or jewelry for Valentine's Day, or cards and flowers for Mother's and Father's Day. Bottom line, it's all about the sales. And let's not forget about birthdays. Personally, I would just want a nice dinner with my family. I don't need presents just because I was born, because I had nothing to do with that. No matter what religion you are, either you celebrate Christmas or not, it's more important to share what you have in your heart than what you put under the tree. So this year, let's give to real memories and real tradition. Hashtag Real Christmas 2014.
You wouldn't believe how many times, like, T-ball, just, Paul Stickler hits a double.
All right. So if you guys don't know already, the title of my speech is Lying to Your Parents, A Brief Introduction. So I'm guessing that most of you here have been taught that it's a bad idea to lie to people, and that's true. Falsehood for the sake of personal gain is generally frowned upon in this society with good reason. However, when I was 16 years old, I realized that that in order to protect the people that I loved, I needed to reform my ideas about half-truths. Specifically, I needed to change the way that I lie to my parents. Before I get into the procedure, it's absolutely fundamental that we remember why we lie. When I was a child, my parents were the happiest people in the world. My mother homeschooled 5 of us with grace and ease, and my father was and still is an incredibly talented doctor. The thing about happiness, however, is that it is a part of a spectrum and not an overall state of being. A series of extra family problems have doomed my father to pushing back his retirement age a 3rd time, and when it was determined that the children should get some exposure to the public schooling system, an unimaginable amount of stressors flooded my mother's life, specifically in the form of PTA meetings. We lie for the people that we love, be it ourselves or those close to us. Personally, I lie in order to make sure that my parents don't collapse under the weight of that which they cannot control. Now that we know that why it's important to lie, let's talk about the best way to go about spinning tales. The key point in the art of fibbing is to keep your crucial points believable. In order to do this, recognize your target's areas of expertise and avoid them at all costs. For those of you who have played 2 truths and a lie, this is especially good advice. For instance, I'll tell my father 2 truths about the state of my health, and then I'll lie about the amount of alcohol I'm going to abuse before the Arizona game tomorrow. Go Utes! My mother pays very close attention to my description of my coursework, but has particular trouble discerning lies about my emotional health. Finally, as long as you ensure there is ample evidence in your life to support the truths you tell, lies are very easy to get away with. I've always had pretty good grades, and that kind of helps me buy time before I have to tell my parents that I'm no longer going out with that girl that they really liked. All in all, remember why you're lying. Misery loves company, and it's up to us to protect our parents from the horrors of reality. Thank you for your time.
Sorry, I'm excited. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you're all gonna die. You're dying every minute, every hour, every breath you take. It might just be the last one. And especially when you're in the middle of final season and you're running from class to class and you're trying to get your papers in and you're registering for courses and you don't have money and you don't have anything else to do. And then you have to freaking take a test in the middle of this and you're breathing and you might fail and you fail. How can you remember that you're a good person, that you're a great student after you get that test back? Today I would like to talk to you about meditation. Meditation is amazing. It's helped me in my life tremendously. It'll help you as well. Meditation has been found to decrease cancer rates, to calm the blood pressure. It's been able to decrease any kind of stress-related disease. I got into meditation when I was 14 years old. Anyway, my family ended up homeless, and I ended up having to leave school and work to take care of them. And when you're faced with the kind of stress of waking up and hoping that you can just get enough food from hotel room to hotel room to help your little brother while your mom's in the hospital. I know it sounds like the most tragic story ever. I know, buddy. You do get depressed and you do have anxiety, but there is a way to overcome that. So today I'd like to just teach you a really quick technique on how to do that. So let's pretend like we're all little kids again. Take a deep breath. And breathe out. Ready? Do it one more time. And close your eyes. You can feel free to close your eyes. I'm watching.
All right. I wasn't going to make that joke, but...
As you breathe, go ahead and see a light. And breathe out and let that light fill you. And allow the distractions to slowly slip away. The room has become more and more quiet. The focus that you need is within you. At the count of 3, I would like you to
lights and buttons. 2. You feel the focus and you're able to overcome problems. 3. Open your eyes and remember, you're awesome and you can do it. Thank you. Is there anyone else that still needs to
We'll go deliberate.